So, a couple things I couldn't get to yesterday. This is disturbing. Travis Akers posted. This photo was published of the Prime Minister of Qatar, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Jared Kushner. What's the problem? Giving a foreign leader visual access to a USG laptop while using someone else's CAC to log in. Pure incompetence at every turn. And now knowing what we know about Tulsi Gabbard, national security, hello? John Ossoff says, we see a faithless president self-dealing while he depicts himself as Christ, while he depicts the Obamas as apes, while he plunges the nation recklessly into war, plunders our health care, and sends prices soaring. And while the people pay more than ever for groceries and housing and health care, he builds a monument to himself. While a cancer patient loses health coverage, he adorns his office in gold. Voting rights laws are dismantled. Prisons for immigrants are full of children, and all we see with this wickedness advanced and defended by those who wrap themselves in the banner of righteous faith. But we ask, where in Scripture are we commanded to deny health care to the sick, to take from those with the least, to give to those with the most, to violate the house of worship, to hunt down the refugee? He sounds pretty presidential, doesn't he? Molly Junk Fast reposted Jim Mustian. Knew the DEA permitted hundreds of thousands of fentanyl pills to hit the streets of New Mexico in bid to build prosecutions. We poisoned our community to make cases. DEA agent David Howell tells AP. We 100% got people killed. That was from AP News. Staggering amounts of fentanyl hit the streets. Oh gosh. Rick Wilson found that Devin Nunes cattle dog. WCGW, Surgeon General of Florida, just announced that all vaccine mandates in Florida will be ended, thus allowing polio, whooping cough, influenza, etc. Rick Wilson reposted and said that fucking fraud deserves prison. And I gotta get to this. ASEAN. Zoran Mamdani was being questioned by a reporter. The reporter says some members of the Jewish community, including Congressman Josh Gottheimer, were alarmed by the language you used at a rally last week, calling AIPAC monsters who move dark money. Mamdani, I want to be very clear. We're talking about a status quo where children are being killed on a daily basis. More than 1,000 Palestinians have been killed by the Israeli military since the so-called ceasefire. Even an Al Jazeera journalist, Ahmed Wisha, was killed this past Saturday by an Israeli strike. And when I'm speaking about AIPAC, I'm speaking about an organization that has been supportive of the status quo, that has fought any attempt to actually deliver safety to people, not just in Palestine, but frankly, throughout much of the region. And it is a status quo of immorality. It is one that I will not accept. And when it comes to the way in which they defend the status quo, oftentimes they defend it through direct contributions, as we are seeing right now in New York 13. And I think it's important that when we ask ourselves how such death and destruction is happening overseas, we also name those who allow it to take place. Joyce Aileen says Trump is trying to shift the decision about who gets to vote from the states to his administration using benign-sounding administrative procedures and an executive order that few people are paying attention to. There's nothing more important to be aware of right now than this. Details here at Joyce Vance at her Substack. In a notice filed Thursday in federal court, the Trump administration advised the court it has created a new General Privacy Act system of records, SORN, to coincide with its proposal to amend the mailing standards of the United States Postal Service Domestic Mail Manual regarding the transmission of mail-in or absentee ballots for federal elections. He doesn't even give a fuck about our overseas veterans voting. He wants to take their votes away too, just in case. Mark Elias from the Democracy Docket says Trump wants to create a national database of every registered voter in the country. Then he and the GOP want to decide who gets to stay on it. It's a way of essentially taking over the voting registration process, Mark Elias says, or more precisely, taking over the results. I know that was a lot, so I'm going to try to leave it on a couple nice notes. So protesters in Albania have begun pushing construction barriers downhill in opposition to plans linked to the Kushner and Trump families' proposed island development project. The dispute is quickly becoming a flashpoint over who gets to decide the future of some of the country's most valuable coastal wetlands that used to be protected until the Kushner and Trump family got involved. Well, Albanian Prime Minister, who's in the hot seat right now. My fucking God is right. Brian Kestenstein says an incredible group of patriotic protesters just projected images of Trump and Epstein onto the tarp that Trump had placed over the Kennedy Center name to hide the fact that his name was forcibly removed. I love that. Thanks, you guys. I'll see you next time.